Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Racers Driving League for Season 16, Round 9 of the Championship, the Canadian Grand Prix here from the fabulous circuit Gilles Villeneuve. I'm your host, Zach RC, and once again joining me back in the comments box is my good friend and co-commentator, Touchy Pope. Pope, welcome back into the comments box after your reserve appearance last week in Spain. How are we doing?
Yeah, feeling a lot better than I did last week. Still recovering, but, you know, we are getting there. But I'm excited to be my favourite stop in the European sector of the calendar, Canada. Still don't know why it's in the European section, but I've grown up with it. I love it. It's one of my favourite tracks as well. 14 corners around the circuit, so it'll be exciting to see which driver bests all 14 and puts it on pole here. Apparently there's going to be rain in the race as well. I don't know if you've heard the same. That means always be exciting.
I've heard a little bit of it, but of course we never know with the rain in Formula One. It could come at any point. Of course it did. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was raining at the start of the Spanish Grand Prix last week, correct?
Yeah, it's very heavy rain. It was, yeah, I haven't driven in the rain on this game, so it was very interesting to try and skate the car around in those conditions. Took me a very long time to learn it, but yeah, really, really tough. So it'll be exciting to see if there is a bit of rain towards the end of this race.
Well, hopefully we'll get some good dry laps in as well during qualifying. I've got my eye on Imri in the Ferrari here. Pope, would you care to take us on a lap of the circuit, Gilles Villeneuve, as you say, one of your favourite circuits?
Of course, honestly, the circuit is so fast-paced. It's like a little go-karting circuit going down, barreling towards turn one. This little kink is not a corner. Everyone thinks it is, but it isn't. Left-hander is turn number one. Hard braking zone. We see a lot of moves down the inside. Turn two, nice little hairpin. Got to be on the throttle. Nice and gentle here. The balance of the car does shift quite a bit. 3 and 4, very easy to cut a corner, but Imri nails that. Imri's been a fantastic pace as of recently. Turn 5, going into exit of sector 1, going into 6 and 7. Very hard to nail them. Obviously, you have to ride a curb. Someone who is very good at riding the curb. Sadly, not currently here, I don't think. Cott is racing. Cott is very good at riding over the curb, so this should benefit Cott's driving style. Hit the DRS detection point after turn 9, going into the hairpin on 10, and the little kink of 11, which is a corner. Very bizarre that the first one isn't, but this one is. There it is. Ride the curb, want to keep the car on a straight line, and you're going to be activating that DRS. Now, look at Imri barreling towards this chicane. One of the hardest chicanes, obviously. Corner cutting and penalties are very easy to get here, as Ethan gets a 110.8. What will Imri do? Last DRS zone is start-finish straight, a 1.9.6, 1.2 faster than Ethan in the Alpine, so very good lap there by the Ferrari of Imri.
Fantastic lap from Imri there, of course, still fighting for that first race victory in the RDL, alongside, of course, Grovey in the Red Bull. Of course, that race came down to the last lap, but before we could even start that last lap, it was already over. Fan joined the session. He is now retired. I'm not sure if he has a qualifying ban. I don't believe he has. He may have a problem on track potentially. That or he has retired in the pit lane. We might have to get to. I should check that quickly. Bear with me. Sorry, I probably should have checked this beforehand, but just nope, it's not in there. Right. Well, Pope fan is out the session. Regardless, of course, reigning champion McLaren, of course, has been a topic of discussion so far this season. Of course, still 4th place in the Constructors' Championship. BJ sits in P6, Fan in P7, both of them on 12 points apiece, and just 2 points off Imri. So I mean, it's not an outside shout to say one of these cars could be in the top 5 by the end of the day.
Oh, not a chance. Sorry, there's always a chance. Sorry, not a chance. It's a bit rude to the McLaren team. Yeah, McLaren, really, really weird season for them, especially Fan, who is currently being bested by his teammate BJ. Was fantastic last season. I think we are just not seeing the car suit. Obviously, they're doing their own qualifying thing that they have done. Maybe it's time to change some of the methods that worked for last season. And hopefully we can see them challenging Imri, like you said, BJ and Fan both 2 points away from Imri and the Ferrari. But they really need to get a little bit of momentum now, especially towards the halfway point of the season. We're nearly there. Obviously, round 9 this week. And it's round 12 now, or round 11, which is a halfway point. So we're nearly there at a halfway point, so be interested to see if they can get a bit of momentum behind them.
Looking at it, I think Fan may have disconnected the first time round, and that's why he's retired from the session. But he has rejoined, but unfortunately cannot set a lap at this point, so it'd be dead last from chances are short of a disqualification. In that time though, Pope, the two Williams cars, who of course have been out in full force this season, look at that. 1 point in the Drivers' Championship separates Grumio and Landlord. Grumio has the advantage. As we said last week, he's the only current active race winner this season. He's won the last 4 races, he's on an absolute charge. But can anyone stop him? Because he's had challengers. Landor, Imrie, Groovy. They're sort of top 4, and they've been able to challenge all season. Of course, we won't count out Slazenger either. Of course, Slazenger third in the Drivers' Championship. He's been a driving force at Red Bull too, but they just can't match the race-winning pace of Grumio. They can't close the deal. And what do we think that's got to do with that?
I don't necessarily think it's pace. I think in terms of pace, I think it'll be faster drivers. Landlord, obviously Grumio is fast. No, don't get me wrong, but I think Landlord in terms of pace can somehow whip it out the bag and just impress us. You see, Grovey last week, she was on the tail of Grumio the entire race. So in terms of necessary pace, I don't think there's that much difference. It's just the experience, the race knowledge. This guy's won 7 championships. It is ridiculous. 6, sorry, going on to his 7th. So it's in terms of that, I think that's where Grumio has the advantage. Not necessarily pace, but experience and. Just, he's been here before, he's a professional, he knows what to do.
Fair enough, but of course, we could put it down to any one of those few cars to win this race, but it is just strange to think the fact that we thought, going into the season, we thought there'd be so much more variability in terms of race winners, and we've only seen 2 all season. We saw Nicholas win the first 4 races, and Grumio's won the 4 since. Of course, Nicholas not here with us anymore, but which leaves Grumio as the only active winner.
Yeah, I think we expected, challenging race wins, maybe not to have 4 in a row, but every race has had a fight for the front. It's just Grumio's come out on top by the end of it. So I think that's the real takeaway from the past 4 races. But I think we're going to a couple more traditional circuits. Obviously, Canada, more traditional race circuit. Got Silverstone coming up, Hungary, Belgium. That might favour other drivers and people we might not necessarily see in the points. Really, I think obviously you see the likes of Alpine, who have done pretty well recently on the less traditional circuits. Will they be able to carry on the momentum? I'm not too sure, but hopefully we see a new race winner. That's my hope for the next few races.
Definitely. I mean, on the topic of those Alpine drivers, of course, the resurgence continues. Then they sit P6 to the Constructors' Championship. Ethan's pushed his way up to 10th place. Imre goes fastest there. 1 minute 9.238, that's about 2.5 tenths above Landlord, so that's a fantastic lap there to push him that extra couple places forward. Slazenger's into P4, Grovey sits in P5, then it's PJ in P6 about to start the final lap. Those Alpines though, they've been in good form as of late. I'd argue that given how Bahrain went on Saturday, I'd argue that perhaps they're, at least in terms of form at their respective jobs, they're probably doing better than the actual Alpine team, if I'm completely honest with myself. So I was going to keep an eye on that.
I'd have to agree with you. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one. Luckily our Alpine drivers are able to challenge for points.
Definitely, of course. So hopefully that will change to the real life Alpine team over the course of the season. They'll be able to push and make the field a bit more competitive, perhaps as competitive as it is here. Because I think you'll agree with me about the results this season, just in terms of race victories, haven't told the whole story. Jaming James in P4 in the Mercedes, the second time out in an RDL qualifying session. Pope, this kid is on an absolute madness at the moment.
Yeah, I was very impressed in Spain. Obviously, didn't really have that much glimpse. My race was very wacky last week. It was bizarre road race. But Jaming James sadly had an incident with, I believe it was Curtis in the Alfa Romeo. So he was challenging really high up at that point after I think the second safety car it was. Really impressed by James, and obviously it's his first time as a full-time driver here in the Mercedes, alongside Shane, who is no slouch as well. We have to make sure everyone knows Shane, though the results might not always show it, Shane has incredible pace, and hopefully be able to bring up that Mercedes team. They're currently sat in P9 in the Constructors' Championship, so right down at the bottom. Will Jaming James be able to revitalise that team, a bit like what Grovey and Slazenger did for Red Bull last season?
Potentially, yeah. You never really know in terms of how things will turn out come the end of the season. But again, the next few races. So James is in P4, Shane in P10. We can definitely agree that those two Mercedes cars, regardless of how they've been regardless of how they've been so far this season, those two cars, those two drivers do have the pace to compete for regular points, and I completely stand by that. I'm sure you'd agree with me.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Yeah, I mean, Shane did get points last time out. P6 behind me. I'll take that. that might be a new thing for Shane to see if he could get higher than me at one point in a race. But P7 now for Shane as well. So both Mercedes in the points. Circuit seemingly going to that Mercedes way. Very, very impressive. And it's always good to see more teams fighting towards the top.
Shane's in P7 now. I will remind you as well, because remember, this Mercedes car is the car that took BJ and Fan to the Constructors' Championship last year. Of course, Fan to the drivers' of course. Obviously, equal performance doesn't have that much value, but it's just a nice little sort of thing to keep an eye on, to add to the immersiveness of the league. So we're still waiting here on these two Williams cars to come around and try and top Imri's pole time. Landlord's invalidated here, so he's made a mistake or two and backed off on this lap. Grumio, they're both out of the racetrack. They've got 6.5 minutes to set a lap time that can compete with Imri, but it's not much. There's not much in it. But these two Mercedes cars, I know I keep on going back to them, but they have really found a span in the works for everyone else. Some of these guys who are regularly competing to start in the points. So drivers like PJ, Websy, Lucky, BJ, that sort of pack there. And of course, don't count the Alfa Romeos either. Cot 5 yet to set a bad lap time, as is Curtis, but Curtis starting a time run now. Cot 5, 51.5 is second sector. We'll keep an eye on him here as he comes through the last couple of corners. But of course, I will say, I'm wondering if you agree with me. Obviously, there's been a bit of luck that's played into it, but I don't think we've seen the blistering pace from Cot we saw from him in his first few races last season.
No, I was actually going to make mentions of that. He sits 42 points behind Grumio in P1 in the championship, so quite a hefty margin there, over 4 race wins. So Cot really needs to pick up the pace now. We know he's got it. He was absolutely blistering, like you said, last season when he made his debut in the league. I just don't think he's really kind of got that Alfa Romeo under grips, I think is probably the best way to put it. But like I say, more traditional race circuits, seeing where Cot actually first started here in RDL, so it'll be interesting to see if he can pick up a bit of momentum in the second half of the season, or approaching the second half of the season.
We'll have to wait and see. I see Landlord improving there. He still sits in P2, improved by about 3/4 of a tenth. It wasn't enough, of course, to notch Imri's pole position, try and get that time back. Grumio still sits there in 3rd place. So it's still James in 4th, Slazenger 5th. Slazenger with no front wing on that car. That could be a problem. I don't think the 0-0 wings thing works around here.
No, you need a lot of downforce around this circuit. I will say that it's actually quite deceiving how much downforce you need, because you're doing 14 corners in 1 minute 9 seconds. It's very much like Monaco in a way. That's probably why I do enjoy it.
And of course, it's been a few weeks now since your Monaco title was taken from you, but I imagine you'll be looking to claim that back next season.
That will be the plan. Yes. Obviously, the new game just being announced as well, and I will be, according to all things, I should be back racing.
I do have to ask you, with the impending release of F1 24 at the end of May, and of course the potential of a brand new game engine, of course, to switch from Ego to Unreal for next season, do you think that could potentially have a shake-up in the pecking order in terms of just who is fast and who's not? Because we saw it a little bit on this game when F1 23 got underway. Of course, Grumio's absence for a majority of the season then opened up the title fight a lot more. But it almost went anyone's way. Of course, with a number of cars in control, Sniper and TJ were in control at the start. It became more of them, Fan and Websy. Those guys turned the tables on themselves, and then of course the new guys came in and shook everything up mid-season. So, could a switch to a new game engine potentially have that same effect?
Yeah, 100%. I think we saw it a little bit with the car models changing. Obviously, from F1 2020 to F1 2021, I took a huge step up. The cars in 2021 suited me way better than they did in 2020. A little bit less downforce, but still enough where you could just put your foot all, and I was very much in control of that. And then switching into 2022, completely shook up the order again. Obviously, you've still got the people who are constantly fast, will always fight towards the top. But yeah, definitely each car model changing, and especially now that we have an engine change, definitely will shake up the pecking order, which I'm excited to see, and hopefully I'll be able to capitalise on that. That'll be quite fun.
We'll just have to wait and see on that. So Lucky Landmark as well through his invalid his lap time. Only one other car on the race right now. That would be Shane, and Imri's on his that lap, so he's going for another run here. Shane slow there. I think he made a mistake potentially on the going through turn. I believe that's turn 10, if my maths is correct, which it probably isn't in terms of corners. So I can never get that stuff right, to be honest. But of course, Shane's still sitting there in P8. Those Mercedes, sorry, I know I keep going back to them, but they are seriously strong. And keep an eye on Lucky Lambert too. Of course, he's back after a few weeks. Was he here last week? Do we know?
I don't believe so.
He's back today. He's back with a vengeance there. P7, the fastest car in the 1:10s right now, but about half a second off of Grovey. Just shows you how quick that top 6 is compared to the rest of the field, at least in terms of this qualifying session. We'll just have to wait and see if anyone can beat them. We're still waiting on both Courtney Goblin and Cot 5 set lap times here. Cot is back out on the racetrack. The slowest time right now, Curtis, 1:11.115. That puts him P16, but it's still very, very close at the minute. The gap between first and 16th in terms of lap time set, 1.8 seconds of difference. And only half a second covering the top 6, but it's a second back. It's a full second between first and 7th. So quite a disparity there between the two sort of groups in qualifying, and that's not something we normally see.
No, yeah, it does kind of fall into the race pace. I think this is kind of the split that we have in a typical race here in RDL. Got the first top 6, top 7, and then a gap, and then the rest of the field. That's kind of how it goes, but don't really see that much in qualifying. You see, I'm just riding on board with Shane, who is on a hot lap, trying to get that Mercedes a little bit higher. He's up on his time by 1.5 tenths, so it'll be interesting to see if he can try and just beat Lucky Lambert out and try and get into that top 7 and bring that gap down to Grovey.
We'll have to wait and see. Of course, only a few minutes to go here, so we are, 1 minute to go. So we are looking at the last times. Slow Williams there on the right side of the racetrack that almost caught out Grovey. That could have been a scary incident potentially. But Grovey 23 to start her last time lap. Looking for redemption. Both Imrie and Grovey in particular looking for redemption after the races that, of course, didn't go their way. Of course, first Imrie in Monaco and then for Grovey in Spain. It's both of them looking for some level of vengeance against those two Williams cars that have been the absolute bane of their lives this season, if I do say so myself. Of course, these two continue to be thorns in the sides for Landon and Grumio, but who'll be looking to try and beat their rivals' times. Grumio is 3 tenths up going into the last sector, so he could be on potential to try and nick pole position, but Imrie may want to try and get that back. He's invalidated this effort here, so but he's going to have to fill his... Oh no, it's going into the pit lane. So this could be it. This could be it for Imrie's qualifying efforts here. I dare say it will be it, and this could leave the door well open for Grumio to nick pole position. Imrie retiring from the session in the pit lane. Grumio could be onto it here. That was a very poor exit or poor entry into the last corner. He may lose some time there. He may get it though. He may still get pole. He will get pole by a tenth, or by less than a tenth, about 400 of a second in it. And Landlord is improving, but not enough to take away Imrie's spot on the front row. James invalidated out. His qualifying zone. Checkered flag has now fallen. Dare say Grumio has pole position. Cott's gone to P5, so he's managed to get a lap in the end. Slicenjo is 3 tenths up. Could potentially put it as high as P3 if he finishes the job here. Grovey down to P7. Not a fantastic qualifying for her today, but by her usual standards. I'm sure she'll be looking to get her back in the race. James is retired from the session there. He's called it into the pit lane. Slicenjo towards the line. Can he improve? He goes P3, so puts it in front of Landlord. So we've got quite a mixed up grid in terms of constructors on the run towards that, or the very short run towards that first corner. JB in 8th right now, into the pit lane, calling into his runs. PJ in 9th, Shane in the pit, so with P10 for him. Short of an improvement from Lucky Lambert behind, he's a 10th up. Could potentially, if he nails this last corner, put himself up to P11, maybe even P10. We'll keep an eye out for him. And over the line goes Lucky Lambert. It's P12 in the end, but it'll be Grumio who takes pole position. Fantastic lap in the end to steal it. And Imrie only just misses out, but will be looking to win that race to turn 1. And it's a short race. You've got to be quick off the line, but of course we've always simp-hoped in the past that Grumio, if you know what we're saying, isn't fantastic off the line. So he could be in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially at this circuit, turn 1 is so crucial. It really dictates the race. So, plus over most of the tracks. I'm very excited to see who will get the best start. And I do want to see Imrie will be starting on the cleaner side of the track, actually. The cleaner side is P2. P1 is on the inside. So that might put some more effect in there, not too sure. We'll have to wait and see.
Go for your top 8 then before we get to the intermission. Grumio leads them to turn 1, followed by Imrie and Slicenjo your top 3. Then it's Landlord, Gaming James, Cot 5, Grovey, and JB in your top 8. So that is that. So we're back to you in a few minutes' time for the start of the Grand Prix. Don't go anywhere because this could be an absolute classic. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Canada, and we are in for what looks to be quite a nice and bright Canadian Grand Prix, but we could be in potentially for some rain later on, Pope. Is that correct?
That's what the drivers have been saying, but they might just be throwing other drivers for a spin. But hopefully we do see a little bit of rain. Oh, there it is. I have seen photo evidence of there is going to be rain later on, so be interested to see. Not much though, not much. So it could be slicks on a wetting track, so that's always fun.
It says raining about 45 minutes in, so I mean it could be a late span on the works from these guys. But here's your circuit. Of course, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, iconic on the F1 calendar. I mean, this is a purpose built. No, sorry, this is a street circuit, correctly, isn't it, Pope? Or am I incorrect there? Is it purpose built?
It's a mix, I believe. It's obviously around this park, but I do believe it's technically classed as purpose-built.
Regardless, though, of course, it's always start with action, because there's your previous winner, Sniper Hunter. Another one of the victories he took. Of course, he went back-to-back, winning Spain, then Canada, and of course, following that up with a win at Silverstone as well last season, which is coming up in a few races' time. But yeah, 14 corners, including that infamous Wall of Champions at the final turn, which could set up some problems potentially. But these guys are fantastic drivers. I imagine they know what they're doing there, and it's very rare we actually get an incident at that last corner.
Yeah, there's not. It's a circuit that's kind of very bizarre. Like, you would imagine there's a lot of incidents and stuff. Doesn't really happen. Safety cars, though. A lot of safety cars.
And well, we don't get a lot of retirements. We do definitely get a lot of track limits penalties have been there. I think back to season 12 when Hughes turned the championship when Canada appeared late on the calendar, and Grumio, who obviously then known as Blaze at the time, was on course for victory that put him a few points clear of Lando in the race for the Drivers' Championship, but crucially got a track limits penalty at the very last corner going through that same turn 14. He lost that race. Lando was then credited with the victory, and he then went on to win the championship one race later in Australia. So that's just how crucial these track limits can be in a situation such as that. But of course, no championship on the line today. 1 point though separating Grumio and Lando. We'll keep an eye on that points battle all day long.
How do you even remember that so specifically? That's crazy.
I have a fantastic memory of commentary, especially with like moments like that, the crucial moments. But potentially we could get served up some more today, so we'll have to keep an eye out. Let's keep the memories nice and sharp. Regardless, though, I imagine we'll be able to get a few seconds late in the formation lap now. I'll be get set to be going for 35 laps of this fantastic 14 corner circuit. Have a look then at your starting grid as you go through the formation laps. At the back of the grid, it is reigning champion C110P fan who joined the session earlier on mid-qualifying and immediately disconnected to be starting from the rear of the field. Connie Goblin lines up in P18 on the outside of row 9. It's Red J in the Ferrari alongside him, looking to get up to speed, looking to help Ferrari's push to get themselves back up the Constructors' Championship. Barry lines up in P16 for AlphaTauri. Of course, he's been fairly successful in his return to the league. Ethan there in P15 for Alpine. 10th in the Drivers' Championship. A few more points could move him into the top 8 in front, perhaps even the McLarens with a good show. BJ there, of course, currently outperforming his teammate, not in terms of points, but in terms of positions in most cases. He's sort of leading the push for P4, the Constructors. He lines up in P14. Websy, P13, 9th in the Championship, 1 point back from Cott and two back from the two McLaren cars, so look for him to play a role today. Lucky Lambo on his return after missed a few weeks there, especially last week, missed out, lines up P12, doing fantastic in qualifying early and starting on the soft tyres. That could potentially be a risk later on in the race. Curtis there in P11, he's the last car outside of the top 10. And Shane, of course, part of that very quick Mercedes outfit have been rising up in recent weeks, starts in P10, PJ in P9, 1 space outside of the points. JB looking to nick some more points for Aston Martin. Of course, he's been the driver who's been the most hard done by the new system so far this season. He's been keeping count of that all season on the old point system as well. Grovey lines up P7, very close to winning last week for that spin on the last lap, put her out of contention, and Grumio went to take the win. She lines up 7th today. Cott getting back to that old pace, he lines up P6 for Alfa Romeo. Gaming James in just his second RDL start in P5, right amongst the big boys, and could be looking to cause some drama. Landlord P4, 1 point back in the championship, looking to get that point back today by finishing just in front of Grumio, regardless of position. Sajja lines up in third in the standings, but looking to close that 16-point gap to Grumio in the championship. Imri lines up second, held pole for the majority of qualifying to be beaten by this man, Salve Grumio, your record champion and your pole sitter for today.
Yeah, Grumio on the medium tire, same as Imri. Very interesting to see who will get that better start. See, trundling down to the P1. position on the grid. These drivers trying to make sure he's got the warmest tyres as possible. Maybe hearing your comments, Zach, as he points the car towards Imrie.
Oh, Lano's missed his grid box.
Ooh,
Fan
that's
back a lot too.
Yeah, that's going to put him back quite a bit.
The last few
So with
cars.
Barry, but yeah, the back of the grid all on hard tyres. Very interesting to see. But here we go. Lights are counting now.
Let's see what pays off for them. 5 red lights here in Canada. Lights out, foot to the floor. Go, go, go. Imrie with a good getaway there on the right-hand side as they charge towards turn 1. He's got the edge over Grumio. Slazenger might try the inside, and they're going to turn 1. He's side by side with Landlord as they go through that first corner. Side by side, the two main protagonists in the race for the lead here. Imrie gets away with the lead out of turn 2. Grumio now looking back to his inside for second. In second place, they go through the chicane for the first time. Good getaway from Imrie. He saw it off the start. He had a better getaway for Landlord at the lights, and over Grumio at the lights, and he leads away in the first sector. You see Cott making a move on James up the inside and the soft tied Alfa Romeo in the next chicane. Very careful there to not cause any drama. It looks like James holds it for P5 at the minute, but Cott on the outside. James got a bit loose in the exit, and the Alfa Romeo goes charging through to take away P5, but Imrie by half second now leads the way.
Yeah, Imrie has been fantastic at restarts all this season, but one thing that I've always noticed is Imrie's usage of battery, no doubt. If Grumio watches the streams, he will be listening to what I'm saying, and we'll take that for note. It'll be interesting to see what tactics these drivers use. As we can see, JB making a move on the Alpine of PJ, and he sets his sights on Curtis, who is currently in P8 after a very slow start to qualifying. Both Alfa Romeos in a points playing position right now. Very good for them.
Fantastic start for Alfa Romeo. It's not over yet because Cocktail Tower haven't got Landlord here to go towards turn 1. He had a brave go going into the hairpin at turn number, I believe that's turn 10, but didn't quite pull off the job. But this time he made a good exit through turn 2. Can't quite do it, stays in line. Imrie though, 6/10 now. Of course, one thing, of course, DRS in play next lap. Gaming James, it's a very early time penalty that will cost him massively here these early stages of the race. P6 from he's lost a place, he's got a time penalty there. So track limits, as we said, Pope already playing a role in this race. Oh, around goes Scott. Keeps it away from the barriers just. I'm not sure if he's got damage there. You saw him behind the tree, but falls back to P14. That's a fantastic start, turned into a very, very poor one for Cot 5, who drops down through the field down to P15. Not at all good for the Alfa Romeo team. They're going to get him back up the field as soon as they can.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Cart. I couldn't really see what happened, but I think he was trying to put the pressure on Landlord, and it just didn't quite pay off, which is a shame, like you said, for the Alfa Romeo team, who he had a fantastic start. So it's such a shame to see him down in P15, but he's got the pace to make his way back through the field, no doubt.
I see Grumio using a fair bit of his battery there, but he's used about the same amount as Imrie, so for both of them will use about the whole tank, or half the tank, sorry. But that top 3 pulling away though, Landlord about a second back, 1.2 back, as Grovey takes James going into turn 1. So Grovey making moves early on, looking to try and close to the leaders. Of course, the 2 soft tyre runners there, Lucky and Cott. Lucky's taken advantage of that. Cott has, of course, slipped back. He's got a lot of work to do now, but he's on those faster tyres, which will run out faster, so he's got to make good use of them while he's still got them. JB with a penalty now too. That's 2 time penalties already been giving out in the first 3 laps of this Grand Prix. Half second separating Imrie from Grumio here. DRS in play for the first time. I think we could be seeing some DRS games, because I imagine this pack will be together for the majority of the day.
Yes, definitely. I think the pack will be very hard to split, I think, during this Grand Prix. But obviously, Grumio is going to want to make sure he attacked at the right time, which is going to be down after 11 into the chicane of 12 and 13, or 13 and 14. Do correct me if I am wrong on the numbers, but will Grumio make a move? Oh, he's...
I see what he's doing. He's setting up for turn 1, but a very poor exit there has cost him. So he won't get that chance, but luckily Slazenger wasn't that fast in the exit either by comparison, so he's away back as it is. So Imrie will maintain P1, and Grumio will have to go wait to the next lap to have another go.
Yeah, Curtis is our biggest gainer currently with 4 positions gained. Great start on the medium tyres for Curtis, and it's really keeping pace with Gaming James and Grovey, so really good for that Alfa Romeo team, and get a bit of momentum on their way as Gaming James hits the wall. Might have a little bit of damage on the car, but obviously the biggest loser is Cott, currently dropped down about 11 places. Really just can't get that car under his grips.
We've got to find a better name for that, if I'm completely honest.
Which one?
the driver who loses the most places, because I don't know, just
Oh
kind of,
yeah,
it feels kind of rude if I'm honest.
it's not very nice, but you know, that's what it is. That's what it is. Oh, Cart really struggling here, bouncing over the big yellow sausage curbs, and he's currently last. You wouldn't have put your money on this.
Not at all, but he's got a lot of work to do here. Oh, and quite a bit over the curbs there, so he's struggling very early on. But I doubt this will be the case for the entire race. I mean, we've seen come back from this before. I mean, he had a relatively poor start in Spain. Also came back to be close around the podium places. I can't remember his exact finishing position, but it was quite hard. But he's going into the pit lane here, so he may have damage potentially, or just trying to get off those soft tyres as quick as he can. Perhaps not doing him much good this early on. We're on lap 5 here. Imri maintains his lead, but Grumio is still hounding him there by about half a second. And again, it's the same old story. 2 Williams, a Ferrari, and a Red Bull now pulling away from the rest of the pack. But it's not the usual Red Bull. Sargento this time is up here amongst the leaders. It's Grovey back there in P5 with Gaming James 7/10 off right now.
Yeah, Grovey, I think, is in a bit of a tough situation now because she's 2 seconds off the lead, and you can't obviously use that much ERS to attack because it's going to make you vulnerable to James, who James's tyres are going to get better and better. Obviously, the harder compound the tyre takes a lot longer to warm up than the softer compounds. So it'll be interesting to see what Grovey does, and it basically puts her as the lead car of a punch in a hole for the air for James. So be interesting to see PJ in P7 doing very well, like I said, again for the Alpine outfit, who have done so well so far this season.
Done fantastically there. Grumio, another poor exit of the last corner. Just can't quite get the run through turn 14 that Imri can. And it's for that reason that I think he perhaps needs to go for the move before he... Because I don't know if you said it, but we see him closing in a lot more out of turn 12. And you see him start to go for that move as he pulls over to the middle of the racetrack to get clean air. And Imri sticks right over to the wall. But then going into that last corner, Imri gets the better entry. And Grumio falls back and doesn't get to make that move on DRS, so he needs to go for it earlier this time round. We'll see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, well, it's a weird one. I've been watching, obviously, paying a little bit of attention to it, and for me, I think Grumio's just taking his time. He's just going to put the pressure on Imri. He's the one who has got a great lead in the championship, 1 point against his teammate. That's really who he's fighting for here. Grumio knows he'll be able to make that move, but he just closes up so much in these final few corners before the straight. I think he will be making a move before the chicane here. He's right up close.
Oh, in the wall. Bit of tap to the wall.
Oof.
He just takes the lead, but gets a bit of damage potentially. I mean, I doubt it, but that could have been very dangerous for him.
Yeah, really weird little incident that. But it's not taking the lead now. It'll be Grumio's race to control for the next few laps. We'll see what happens with these leaders. See Grovey losing a bit more time, about 5/10 lost since we last rode on board with her. So I don't think Grovey's really settling into this race as well as you would have hoped.
Definitely not as well as she did in Spain. Because P5 is still very respectable, but I imagine she wouldn't be up there with those leaders. Perhaps would need like at least some form of pit strategy or safety car to intervene to really get her closer. Has been a fantastic race for us so far. Cart still goes back there in dead last. He's on a set of hard tyres now, so are now pushing to try and close that gap to Red J in P18. He was also full away from the pack a little bit there. He's 2 seconds back from Cotley Goblins, a second back from Barry. Fans 1.8 behind, and then the rest of the pack kind of close up together. So the back of the main pack is still with Ethan in P14 right now, and he's almost full away from Websy and BJ. So it's quite a race right now. Everyone's sort of split up quite a bit more than we expected them to. There hasn't been as many trains as we may have thought, especially given a track that can be very DRS heavy. The only road train seems to be this one up front. And speaking of trains, Grimio's leaving it. His train's leaving the station. He's 1.1 seconds clear of Imri. No DRS for the Ferrari. Oh, wait, no, sorry, there was DRS that time around, but if it keeps on how it is, then Grimio may pull away.
Yeah, if you run on board with Slesinger, you can actually see the red light flashing of Imri, which means he is at 10% or lower on ERS. So, once again, Imri, you've had a lot of ERS early on in these races, and it might play into Grumio's hands to pull away that gap, as it is quite hard to recover ERS around this circuit. But one train I do want to move a little bit further back is P7 to P10, P11 really, all within a second of each other. Really close racing here, and Curtis and PJ have a little bit of contact there and really pushed each other to the limits. Obviously 3 points separating Alfa Romeo and Alpine in the Constructors' Championship. So these two are really fighting out for the season, and probably a fight that not many people expected.
Oh, Curtis
okay.
loose.
Oh, what a save.
Good
what
save.
a save.
And they could try and get JB back here going to the chicane. I don't think he'll go for it, but Lucky goes for it instead. Up the inside goes the red-tired Aston Martin on the exit. Curtis gets away, but you are right, Pope. What a save that was. A good recovery from Curtis, but now he's got a rear mirror full of shame. The Mercedes, the Silver Arrow charging towards the last corner, lifting a little bit to try and get a better run off of turn 14. Will he go for it as well, like Grimio did? Can't quite do it. That exit, it's not fun to follow here. Especially in the last sector, going into that final corner, it's not a nice place to be because you're sort of judging braking off the car in front of you. So it's not fantastic there. Lucky Lambert into the pit lane now. Those soft tyres are done for now. Hard tyres going on. Pope, can he take those to the end, do you reckon? What's the game plan?
Possibly, yes. Yeah, I would say maybe just taking those tyres to the end. It would be quite hard, but you could go on another pair of softs if he saved another pair for later on in the race. As you can see, we've got 3-second time penalty for Ethan. Obviously, Imri's dropped back a couple of places now, so Slazenger's ahead.
Oh, yellow flag of Shane.
Oh, Shane. And a safety car.
Oh, and that'll jump everyone back up. But Shane out of the race there. He did the same thing that Cott did on lap 2, but unfortunately he wasn't so lucky. And that's what Mercedes out of the race.
That's a shame because Lucky Lambert's just pit as well. So he's gained absolutely zero advantage from pitting. That shows you how unlucky it can be with the timing of a safety car here in Formula 1. But one person who will be happy is Cop 5, who will be able to regain the time that was lost taking early pits. Obviously, Grumio in the pits. Obviously, Slazenger. Yep, I think everyone's going to be bolstering in the pits, probably for a set of hard tyres, is what I'd assume.
I'd imagine so. But yeah, bad luck for Lucky Lambert there. Is it possible we can call him Irony Lambert, or does that not work?
I'm just going to ignore that one. That was horrific.
What do you mean? I tried. Oh, Barry.
Oh, see, Damon James.
Barry drank the penalty. He's been on the safety car. Oh no, so he's been caught by the Delta.
Last week, actually. Yeah, I did that last week. Very weird. The Delta in this game is very bizarre.
I've sort of found a way around it, to be honest.
Oh.
Or not around it, but like I've sort of figured out how it works. But it sort of judges the it judges like an average lap of the track based on a certain speed that you expect to go on the safety car. So if you brake a lot earlier than you would normally for a corner, just until you get it under the Delta and it makes your speed probably do about half throttle on the exit. Typically for me in Creative Series that works quite a bit, but there are times I've been very nearly caught out. So you just sort of mind your manner with the Delta more or less.
Yeah, it's very weird. Obviously having a look at the grid now, so Grumio on the medium, same as Slazenger. So they will have to box again. So it'll be crucial to know that they do have to pit again. One person who doesn't have to pit again is Imri, who has gone onto the hard tyres. So he's made that one change of tyres, his mandatory change. So Imri can go to the end of the race and probably will take the lead of the race at some point in the last 26 odd laps, but will be chased by the faster tyres, I assume the softs of Grumio and Slazenger, if there's no more safety cars, of course. Gaming James on the mediums as well, same with Landlord. Grovey on the hards, Grovey starting on the medium, so she doesn't have to pit again. And Cottony stays out on those hard
nice
tyres.
coming in,
No, he doesn't. Ah, brilliant, nice one. Thanks, Cottony, just ruined it. Just ruined my statement. Fuming.
Excellent job, Conley. I'll pay you for that later. Into the pit lane it comes, the Haas making onto medium tyres there. So he's now made his mandatory change, but I imagine he couldn't take those to the end, so he might be banking on another safety car potentially to get him onto the within the sort of window to get him back onto the prime strategy to run for the end.
So soft tyres kind of went off around lap 9, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With Lucky Bot in. So I'd probably say mediums are probably 16 laps. So there's a possibility you could take these mediums to the end. It'd be hard. It'd be very hard, and obviously a lot of these drivers will have to pit again anyway. So it makes it quite irrelevant. But those who have gone on from the hards to mediums, such as Gaming James, may possibly be able to take those tyres to the end if tyre saving is up to scratch. But we'll have to wait and see on that one.
I think you need to teach us the ways, Pip, as to how you're going to make 16 lap mediums work for 25 laps, or 24 rather. We've still got quite a way to go in this Grand Prix, so please teach us the ways while we're under the way to go. Oh, no, never mind.
Because
wait.
I mean, 16 laps, you could really stretch them out probably to 20, and That's only 5 more laps. Like, it's not very abrasive in terms of it's 1 minute 9 laps. Like, they're they're quite quick. So you should be able to take them just. Maybe it'll be very hard. It'll be tooth and nail, I will have to say. But another virtual safety car, and these medium tyre runners are in the money.
Have to wait and see what goes on the next 24 laps. This Canadian Grand Prix. Grumio who leads him for the restart. Now, of course, in Spain he went quite late. There's not really an opportunity to. There's kind of an opportunity to do it at the last chicane, so it could work potentially. Let's see whereabouts he chooses to go. It could give us an idea for future restarts. Starting to second, Imri in third. We imagine he'll be going for the lead on the restart here. The whole pack all bunched up there. 18 cars left in the running. Rosane, the only retiree. We'll wait to see. Look, Grumio backing them all up. They're all single file here, waiting. And Grumio's probably going to go now on the exit of the chicane. Yes, he will. That's a fantastic start. Imri, the time penalty there. He's been caught on the curb. And that could be huge development in his Grand Prix. He restarts P3. He's back on the way on lap 12. Grumio waits a half second on Schlesinger.
Oh, Damon James really letting the brakes there into turn 1. Nearly hitting the back of Landau, but getting that Mercedes slow down just in time. Damon James really doing very well here to keep up with this field in his second race here in RDL. So very impressive as he goes a little bit haywire there on the exit, hitting that Astro. But great restart there by Grumio. Obviously, it's very hard to gain a massive amount at this circuit on a safety car restart, especially when you've got that Red Bull of Schlesinger behind you. Is no slouch.
Definitely not. We'll keep an eye on see if he can close in, because Imri, that time penalty there will really hinder him come the end of the Grand Prix, especially if strategy does come into play with Yusu looking at soft tyres potentially for the finish of the race. Damon James up the inside, allowed on contact there. James knocked up a little bit and collided with the side of the Williams. Looks like both of them go away without any real damage, but potentially Lando will be watching his mirrors, be a bit more wary of the next move, because we don't know when that could be coming. James are making a statement there. Well, I'm sure obviously didn't mean to make contact, but James is on a charge at the moment there. Still sitting in P5 and looking to try and take on our 3-time champion.
Yeah, really aggressive moves there, which we do like to see, but obviously making sure that they are clean. Looking a little bit further back, we see Curtis still putting that pressure on the Alpine of PJ. I think this could be the little rivalry of the season there, if they can carry this on. This is fantastic racing. They obviously was swapping around positions constantly. You see Lucky with a 3-second time penalty, swapping around positions constantly before the safety car, so be interesting to see. But JB not too far behind that green machine, so really heading the charge for Aston Martin, doing very well.
Of course, both JB and Lucky now have time penalties to be put in the end of the race, so they'll need a couple of seconds coming into the Grand Prix to ensure that if they're in a points playing position at the end, to ensure they bring home the bacon for Aston Martin back to their base in Silverstone. Curtis then locking up a little bit, or maybe BJ. PJ. One of them locking up there. So that's just saw a lot of tyre smoke. Websy there in P10. It'll be looking to pick up the scraps. Should we see more penalties in front? Landau taking Imri there for P3, going into the last corner. Schlesinger still there behind Grumio, and DRS about to come back into play. So we'll see come next lap round. We'll see what Schlesinger's got in the way of challenging Grumio for the lead. Landau fastest lap there on those medium tyres. 1 minute 12.3. And James, as you say, he's still right there with his pack. So anything could happen here. And I dare say he may try and line move on Imri soon.
I think he needs to make that move on Imri, obviously. Imri on those hard tyres.
Another penalty.
This is the circuit. The circuit is so hard to keep the tyres in the white line, so not surprised. But for Imri, it's not what you want to see flash up. And it wasn't too long ago since he got another penalty, so unfortunate few laps. But yeah, James really needs to make a move on Imri to keep up with the pack, as the pack is already starting to gain a little bit away from the Ferrari on the hards.
I dare say we could see a move here from James down the inside like he's done Landau here. He's going to look to it, going into the corner. Very late on the brakes there, James! Oh, around goes Schlesinger! Big contact there! James may have lost a 5-second penalty, and I think honestly, I'm not sure what happened there with James, but he overshot that way too much, and now down to P16. Mercedes see their race fall apart just like that, and I dare say we could see damage potentially on Landau and Schlesinger. One of the Aston Martin slow there. Lucky Lambert may have got a legal overtake. What happened there? Landlord into the pit lane. Schlesinger keeps going. He's down to P7 now, but that gives Grumio a big lead of 2.6 seconds over Imri. He's got a time penalty. Grumio, with 20 laps to go, has it made right now. And James retiring from the race.
Both Mercedes out of this race, yeah. Obviously, for it looked like it's completely missed the braking zone. trying to make a move on Imri and just could not get that car slowed down at all, which, yeah, obviously gave Landlord some damage. I think Slazenger too. Obviously, now Slazenger's in the thick of it, really, in that midfield, not where he wants to be after such a promising start to this race. The first 15 laps were practically perfect for Slazenger, and unfortunately it's come to an end, but obviously Grumio will be absolutely thrilled in a way, obviously not to see his teammate bow out really from the race, but it just relieves that pressure, and that gap is just extending.
It's a huge turn in the Drivers' Championship. That gap will then be 11 points should things stay how they are. It'll be up to, I think Lan will be hoping on Imri potentially taking the win from Grumio, or there being some kind of mistake from Grumio to avoid any point gain there coming into the race. I see Websy getting involved here against PJ as they make their way through, because Curtis is up into P4 now, so that has allowed that some Ruiz go up the field. Slazenger back into P6. I don't think he's actually picked up too much damage from that. I think it's mainly damage perhaps on the maybe on the side pop, because he didn't really get hit in a place where he lost it much on his wing. So he may have got away slightly cleaner than Landlord did, but he could still come back in this one. I wouldn't say a podium is out of the question at all, given the penalties. We'll have to wait and see what he can do in the next 20 laps.
Yeah, no doubt at all. Obviously, right now, Grovey will be taking that P2 spot on Imri's penalties, and I think even Slazenger might head of Imri.
Oh, and
well, maybe not, because he's got a 3-second time penalty headed his way, which is obviously a shame. So obviously Grumio, Grovey and Websy in the top 8 are the only drivers not to have a penalty, which shows you how hard it actually is to keep all the tyres in the circuit. But the Alpine team have got Ethan now in P9, really good stuff by Ethan. Really needs to help his teammate PJ ahead, who's on the slower tyres compared to Websy, and try and put a bit of pressure on that Haas.
7 drivers still in the running who haven't got a time penalty yet today. If a safety car comes out, that could benefit those guys massively. So drivers like Land or BJ. BJ, I believe, may have had some kind of problem a couple of laps ago. He was slowing quite a bit when Slazenger was recovering places. Curtis and JB fighting here for P4 on the racetrack. Side by side into chicane. What he's got to give here is JB who gives, and Curtis narrowly gets in front, but JB's right there on him. Could go for moving into the chicane section. Keep an eye on these two, Pope, as they make their way in towards the next DRS zone. We'll see what JB's got, looking to try and reclaim P4. Because both of them are time penalties, so it will mean that they're still racing for position on the racetrack. It might be a low position at the end of the day, but still 2 points here. And JB will be looking to try and get that position back. Potentially, we could see moving the chicane here. It's right in the hairpin, rather.
Yeah, I think that's everyone from P4 to P14 is in the space of one straight. This is crazy how close this is. You can see even Websy passing PJ. So will we see a swap between these two Alpines? Maybe making a tactical decision to let Ethan through, and then PJ trying to charge in McLaren of C110 P-Fan. We'll have to wait and see if the Alpine team will do that. I see JB making a move on Curtis, going into the chicane. Fantastic move there by JB.
Keeping hold of P4 for me, but Slazenger's coming back though. He's going to take on Curtis for P5, going into turn 1. The Red Bull nipping in front with a pace that we've seen out of the Red Bulls in real life in the last few years or so. And I dare say that we could see a very nervous JB with Slazenger on a mission behind him as he's on lap 18 in this Grand Prix. We're more or less at the halfway stage. Quite a lot has gone on this first half of the Grand Prix. It's been a very entertaining one so far. Grumio out to 3.8 seconds in advantage, and Imri there in second place. Under fire, perhaps a lap or two from Grovey, who is in DRS range. And of course, no penalties for her either.
Yeah, Grovey's kept herself very clean during this race, and that will probably benefit her more than most. And obviously, she doesn't have to pit again because she's made her mandatory pit stop and tyre change. So for her, it's now just charging towards the end of the Grand Prix. And actually, if Grumio pits and heads into traffic, Grovey would technically be provisional P1 with penalties applied. So for her, she's in a very good position.
Indeed, she's got to keep her nose clean for the time being. Curtis and JB are now fighting for P5. Slazenger managed to take both cars in the last lap, so Slazenger now pulling away and getting to work. He's got 5 seconds to close on Grovey, but how long will those medium tyres go? We said about 16 laps when we're on the safety car, so we'll probably be looking at around a lap 25, lap 26 stuff, if I'm honest.
Yeah, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 18 laps altogether, another 9 laps. JB gets another time penalty. unfortunate for him. It's just getting a bit close and a lot of dirty air in this train, so the drivers further behind will be really struggling, no doubt. See Ethan getting a fantastic run here. Will he try and make a move up the inside of his teammate, try and make it nice and clean? Alpines, they've been known to come together, so keeping it clean between those two, very good for the Alpine team.
This train, P4 to around sort of P10, P11, very entertaining right now. Oh, quite a lock up there.
Oh.
That was big.
James flashbacks then. That was tense between Revsy and JB, both somehow keeping it away from each other
Curtis
as
taking
JB's
P4.
trying to move round the outside. No, backs off, makes a smart decision. Will he try and get a good run on Websy? We'll have to wait and see.
He's getting closer.
Looks like
He's going to go for it. Up the inside.
Great battling here.
What a fight.
Ooh, a little bit of contact, but nothing but friendly nudges as JB skates that Aston Martin round. Wow, this is incredible racing by
Threat
Big
from
Ray.
PJ though. Oh, PJ's been hit with a penalty there. Going for that.
That's unfortunate.
I'm going for that move. See Alpine and Aston Martin fighting here. Look at this. Both cars and both teams going for it. Caught with the penalty there. That's his first penalty of the race. We are left with just, I think, 6 drivers who don't have a time penalty yet. And 2 of them are in your top 3.
Yeah, very impressive, and it shows, even with time penalty now, I think all his battling's got close and skates around, and that allows C110P Fan, the reigning champion, to squeeze on through. I think Fan will try and want to get through these as quick as possible, show the pace he does have, we know he has. It'll be interesting to see, but Alpine, who won the race last season with Sniper Hunter in the car, are still showing some pace around the circuit, no doubt.
I think we are starting to see a lot of drivers perhaps struggle on tyres because of course we are obviously oh, JB, unsure what the plan was for the Aston Martin there. Perhaps making a mistake going into the entry in the last corner. Went over the runoff. Didn't get a penalty for it, so he's safe there. But lost a place, maybe even 2 to 1 to his teammate Lucky Lambert's on his inside as they go through this pack from around P7 now to P11, and only Fan of this little train doesn't have a penalty yet, so he'll come out on top. He'll come out on top position-wise on this train. Websy in P6, he's there with both Sazio and Curtis. If he can keep pace with those guys, and he'll be on for P4 right now. Maybe even should Imri drop back P3. Because remember, we'll keep an eye on these 2 leaders here. Because while Grimio's pulling away, he starts to pit again. And Imri, I wonder if he'll stop too. I shouldn't think he would,
Yeah,
but then the penalty will give Grove the lead.
Yeah, it's a very weird position, I think, for Imri. You're in a point where you've got time penalties and you've got Grovey charging behind on the same strategy as you with no penalties. A very tough position for that Ferrari to be in, but yeah, I honestly, I do have to say the driving, barring a few little incidents, it's been very, very close and very entertaining, so well done to the drivers so far, and please keep it up. It's incredible to commentate over.
And we've still got Rankins there, haven't we? Let's not forget that.
We do.
A late spanner could be thrown in the works. You never know.
Maybe that's why people have gone on to mediums.
The track's getting cloudier.
No.
You can see it a
Yeah,
little
it does
bit.
now make sense. Yeah, I think turn 1 will be first to hit the rain, so keep an eye on that. And it looks like Websy struggled there for traction. I'm not too sure what that was. It just seemed like the engine had no revs. Very, very bizarre.
Lucky land penalty there. Lucky still there. Currently in the last point paying position, that's what will go to Fan here once the penalties are all sorted out as it stands right now. Unless he gets a penalty of his own, which we'll hope he doesn't, or rather he'll hope he doesn't. Just got to keep on the track because he knows it, he knows if he stays with these cars, he'll get the places. Just needs to relax.
And as well, he's on the same amount of points as his teammate, so obviously you want to be the first driver in your team and you want to be the one outperforming your teammate, even if you are good friends with them. So he'll definitely be keeping that in mind as he tries to set up Lucky for a move. Be interested to see if he can pull this off.
BJ penalty there. Of course, BJ back in P16. Yeah, he made a second stop on this property. Yes, he did. So him and Cott Cott just come into the pits for a new set of medium tires about a lap or 2 ago. So in the back of the pack right now. JB penalty there. JB is struggling here. Websy looking at P4 from both Curtis and Schlesinger. 3-car fight for that last spot, for that first spot outside of the rostrum. And Curtis comes back at him. This is going to be quite a fight here between these 3 drivers. Curtis moves back into line. Lifts off a little bit, giving Websy some space. And perhaps waiting to line up on the DRS straight. what tactics are in play here? But this is fantastic racing throughout the field, and all the while Grumio getting no camera time, but he's in the lead by 5.2 seconds.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think obviously it's now making sense that people are expecting a rain to hit probably lap 30, especially now that we had a safety car. It will bring it in a little bit more, but I'm not too sure if it'll be enough to go to wet conditions. So for these people who are on the mediums, who are probably going to take out these mediums now till the wet period, I'm not too sure if it will benefit them. It's tooth and nail on that, I do have to say, but it does bring in these hard tyre runners who will benefit tremendously on that. But someone who I want to pick up on is Curtis, who has done absolutely sensational so far. Really good racing and really showing that Alfa Romeo team that he can compete. He can compete with the likes of Cott as well, and I think bearing this result, he will be on joint points with Cott, maybe even a point higher.
Starting to look at a change here. Soft tyres going to that corner. Wing change too, so I think finally repairing that damage, if any, from the collision with James earlier on. Slazenger is away. Good stop from the Red Bull team to get him back on the racetrack. So he could. So I think he may stay on these until the rain comes, if the rain is going to come. If not, then he's got he's made to manage those softs a little bit to get to the end of the race.
Yeah, should just be able to make it to the end of the race. Obviously, the car will be a lot lighter than it was in the first point of the race, and hopefully will be in a bit cleaner air compared to the first 15 or first 9 laps, really, for the soft tyres.
I'm seeing this train here from sort of P6 to, again, around P10, sort of breaking up, sort of splitting up a little bit here. They're not as close as they were, because I think a lap or two ago, but they were running nose to tail. They're still within DRS range, but now a little bit away from each other. But I imagine the DRS have more close up to each other here. Keep an eye out, though. I mean,
yeah, I think this is the point where tyres will start wearing. So I feel like they're now deciding, is it actually worth fighting these people? I think that's going to come into play.
Both PJ and Fan stay out. The whole pack stays out, so nothing yet. Landor, of course, is on the comeback. He's in P11 right now. He's 3 places off the points, and I believe I just saw some comments in the pits, like Connie Goblin in the pit lane there. I think he's had enough of his medium tyres, and we'll see what he does. I imagine it'll be a set of soft tyres, either go to the end or wait for that rain. It's a tough choice to make. I know it's another set of mediums for him. He's done on the hard, so of course he's made this change already, so doesn't need to worry about that. Down in P17 though, there's a bit of work to do. Grumio in the lead there. Imrie still second. Grovey has not really managed to gain much. I feel like once you're sort of within range of a driver in terms of DRS, there's almost like a bubble that's almost there that you really can't break into unless you get a lot of pace over one lap.
Well, yeah, it's like real life F1. You have to be a certain amount of tenths a second faster than the driver ahead, and if you're on pace, which Grovey is on pace with Imrie currently, it's very hard to kind of break down, but she doesn't need to. She really does not need to at this point. Imrie's got 6 seconds worth of penalties, I believe. Yep. So she's fine. It's better to sit back and save a bit, save your tyres and stuff like that, because Imrie and Grovey are keeping pace with Grumio up ahead.
Oh, there goes Lucky around. After the last corner, lost his end plate. He's in a dangerous place. There goes Landlord off the racetrack, and that's a big turn in the Drivers' Championship. Landlord, the third retiree, and the safety car comes out. Lucky Lambert, 5-second time penalty there. And it can be a struggle to rejoin on a second like that. Oh, and he's wiped. He's taken Cott. I thought he was taking Cott. Cott's either didn't get caught or saved it. But it's a struggle to try and get yourself turned around there. You've really got to wait until things are clear. Lucky Lambert out of the race too. He's calling it there. But that changed everything as we are nearing that rain poke. We could see it perhaps under the safety car making that change. But 9 laps to go. What do you do?
You pit onto softs. I think everyone else is going to pit on softs. You have to pit on softs. It's the best strategy call. Especially if a penalty as well. Because if you're a penalty and you're on worn tyres, you're just going to get swamped and you're just going to lose your positions. Or if you don't have a penalty, sorry. If all the people who have pit on to softs with penalties, there's no point of them having penalties because you're going to fall that far behind. So have to pit onto softs. But obviously the rain is near. Another safety car. The safety car will be probably out for 2-3 laps. The rain could come. This is very, very tight here now. There's Grovey onto mediums.
Oh.
No. That's not the right call, I don't think, depending on what other drivers do. Webbsy onto the inters.
Oh.
Webbsy's gunning for the rain to arrive. So, interesting to see. JB on mediums. I just don't think mediums are the right call here.
Definitely a lot of split choices in the field, and that could play into who wins this race.
What's Webbsy on his inters?
I see what he's doing. I think he's banking completely. I think on the rain coming out, but will he still be up at the pack to keep pace with them when it comes out? Cott's joining in too. Cott's onto intermediates as well. Perhaps going one last balls towards them to try and salvage this race. I think they're at the points unless the rain comes.
Yeah. I mean, everyone has been expecting this rain. We all knew it was going to arrive, but we haven't seen it yet. We've got about 6 laps left. Is it even going to get wet enough? I don't think it will. I really don't think it will get wet enough for the intermediates to work, unless it hits about now.
We have 8 laps to go.
Ask the safety car.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. No, you're correct. I stand down on that.
Yeah, I don't count safety car laps. That's my racist brain completely just overtaking my commentary brain. And just going, that's how many laps we have left, because that's how I would calculate in a car.
It's all good. Yeah, it's all good.
People boxing. Hello.
Grovey coming in. And that's a big loss of track position for these guys. And they're both looking at inters.
So, okay.
And Grovey's in out. Well, no, never mind. No, that was back. Never mind. I was so excited for a second there.
So, what's happened now is they've gone on to whatever the engineer's called. I'm going to call him Jeff. Don't know if it is Jeff. Or Mark. I don't know. It's always Jeff to me. It's Jeff. But they've gone on to radio with their engineer and they've gone, when is this rain coming? You can do that, obviously, by the commands. And obviously, they've got the call of we think dries are the best tyre, which for some reason is the call for rain's about to hit. Don't know why. It's just a weird glitch that's been in the game for years now. So they are thinking this rain's going to hit in the next lap. And obviously it's got a lot, very, very cloudy, so I would not disagree with them, but I think the safety car will be in this lap. Intermediates are not going to be fast enough here. This is going to shake up the order, and someone who's benefited completely from this. C110P fan.
Into P3 and no penalties too.
Fantastic.
This order's going to shake up massively in the next 7 laps. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll put up a chair here because we are in for quite a finish.
Ooh,
keep an eye on those T-pods in case the rain starts to, because that's where we sort of see it. Grumio though, as of right now, for him it's just business as usual. Provided it stays how it is, but we'll need to control things for the next 7 laps and hope that rain doesn't come down to the point where he struggles. And if it does, and Webbsy inherits the lead and everyone comes in, do Imrie and Grovey have what it takes in terms of pace to catch Webbsy in the late stages? That's time to find out though. Green flag goes back in the air, and the rain is coming. Here it is. The rain starts hitting fast as well.
Oh, wow.
And the rain has chosen the perfect timing here. You can see it starting to fall down the circuit. And we could see Webbsy in a big play there. Oh, but he struggled there through turn 2. He's going to lose a number of places here. Both Fan and JB finding their way through, and Curtis to the inside as well. Webbsy's going to try and hold it there. It's close to contact. Webbsy goes almost off the track there, down to P6. Almost losing the car there in front of Ethan. Webbsy struggling. Red J around his outside. Those intermediate runners have fallen back. And BJ there fighting his way around him. As of right now, it's still a soft tyres game. Grumio leads by 1.2 to Fan. It's JB unbelievably in 3rd place. He'll lose those points through penalties. Curtis in P3 technically. BJ still got a drive-through to serve. I'm not sure he knows that.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he's just trying to gain on these intermediate runners as best as possible. But obviously, the intermediates are not going to be ready yet. The track is still dry. You can see them just really struggling to keep the temperature up and keep the grip, really. Obviously, the grippier it is on these tyres is when the wetter it gets. So I think you're looking for another 2 laps at least for these intermediate tyres to be ready. But will these soft tyre runners be that far ahead of them? Probably. This is going to be very, very interesting to see how the end of this race goes.
BJ inside that drive through penalty. Webbsy there, about to pass the license journey. He's about to be caught by Imrie as well, of course. So Imrie, Grovey, caught there, all on the intermediate tyres. But Webbsy goes deep there. So Webbsy has struggled a big time on this restart. Imrie doesn't look like he struggled too badly. but he's now right behind that Haas car, won't have almost any time to get around him. So pulls the inside of the racetrack, doesn't quite do it, stays in line for the minute, doesn't want to go for anything too risky into a corner like that. Grovey 1.8 back, she's got barrier for company behind her on the medium-tired AlphaTauri. Grumio 3 seconds into the good right now, but you can see the rain is starting to hit on the track there, Pope. We could be seeing a wet track in a moment or two. I think we are already, look at that.
Yeah, this is it. As soon as you see the little raindrops on the track, it is getting ready for intermediate tyres. So about 5 laps for the intermediates to be in their peak compared to these tyres. And yeah, you can see Slazzy just not gaining that much. And the spray, yeah, you are right. This rain has hit ridiculously fast.
It does do that. See it, Pope? I might not be an audio champion, but I still know my stuff at the end of the day. But yeah, look at it. It's incredible. Do we see?
I've never seen this happen. This is ridiculous.
And Grumio's staying out.
This. Oh my lord.
These leaders are going to try and stay out to make it to the end of the race. Can Websy, Imrie, Groovy, can they close 10 seconds? DRS disabled. Curtis bites the bullet. He's in the pit lane.
DRS is enabled.
Enabled, sorry.
It's enabled. It's enabled.
I imagine it'll be disabled shortly. I can't imagine we'll keep it
has
out.
To be.
Yellow flag. And that is Barry around the last corner. He's lost his wing. VSC deployed.
This is brilliant for the dry tyre runners. But look, yeah, everyone's on the intermediates now. Oh my lordy lord, this is ridiculous. This is crazy. I'm generally flabbergasted.
The rain has completely turned this race on its head, as it does
It's
in this
soaking.
league.
It's absolutely drenched.
I know, it's fantastic.
I've never seen rain hit like that ever in Formula One. In real life.
I've seen it a couple of times. Green flag goes back in the air. Websy and Imrie, both about 12 seconds to close to our race leader Grumio, who needs to bring the car home or make the stop. Websy, the time penalty. That won't help his case at all. That leaves Grovey in the driving seat. But she's still about 12 seconds back. So has work to do here. Grumio, I think, is struggling by comparison. Those guys are starting to close the gap a bit. And I imagine we'll see Websy, Imrie, I imagine we'll see them come roaring back. Does Reggie let his teammate through? I think he does. Yes, he does. Imrie on the left-hand side. Oh, they came close to contact. Imrie wobbled a little bit there. Almost ran into the side of his teammate, but both of them getting away okay. Websy closing that gap. It could be down to Websy and Imrie for the race win here. After all this, Grumio stays out. Everyone else is in, but Grumio stays out.
This is going to be fantastic. Reggie with 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I think DRS is now disabled. I'm pretty certain.
I imagine it has to be. They can't keep it on in these conditions.
This is this is crazy. 8 seconds just dropping. Compared to a second in 2 corners here. Grumio is just skating around the circuit, and for Websy, he needs to stay within 3 seconds of Imrie. Doesn't matter if he passes him. 3 seconds, Websy can win this race.
And keep an eye on Grovey too. Remember, she's got no penalties crucially, and she's only a few seconds back from those guys. Maybe if she can stay close to Websy, she could win this race still. This race is in no way over, but I dare say Grumio is not going to win it. So that'll be big for Landlord if Grumio slips out of the points and may have to pit late on. Perhaps he may have gone as long as he can. Oh, he's very slightly there through a hairpin. That's going to be a lot of time lost. And the record champion, in a rare moment, is struggling. And that is not something you see often in this league. Websy's brought the gap down to 2 seconds. Imrie's right behind. Grovey's there too. Let's keep an eye on these guys to make their way through. There's going to be 3 laps to settle it. I imagine Websy is in the driving seat to win this race, but Grovey's still there with both of them. Keep an eye on these two. Grumio still staying out. I imagine he can't lose track position now. He'll definitely fall up the points. I think what he's going to try and do is just try and manage it as best he can. And wherever he finishes, he finishes. I think relying on those penalties too. Oh, there he goes! Spinning off at turn 1. The championship leader losing 3 places just like that. And I dare say Landau can breathe a sigh of relief because I don't think that championship gap will increase by very much, if at all, here in these late stages. Websy inherits the lead, but Grovey right now is on course to take the W unless a mistake comes on her way in these next 2.5 laps.
Yeah, Grovey cannot get a penalty at all. This is crucial now for Grovey to get her first race win. Obviously, you want to make sure you're winning it on track, but there's no better feeling than standing on top step of a podium. I can assure you of that. So Grovey will be absolutely ecstatic. But
Yellow flag moves around again, and he's got no wing.
Needs to keep her head and into the wall. Will there be? Oh my lord!
It's back up. He backs up. Yeah, he's got place to do it.
To just
and he's out. He's retired it.
Retiring.
Well, what a day this has turned into, Pope. I've never seen a rainy day do this much damage in a league race ever, I don't think. I don't see a change this big since sort of Imola and Imola season 12, Silverstone season 14. It always seems to happen at some point. Oh, Websy! Damage there, potentially to the Haas car. And that'll be his chance to win the race over. And now Grovey's in complete control of this one with no penalties. Imrie in the lead on track. Grovey about to get it through Wentz. Oh, Websy struggling an awful lot there. Or we're looking to hang on to the podium. Cott, if he can take Websy after the day he's had, could find himself back on the podium in monsoon conditions. And keep an eye on Curtis too, who could try and nick it off his teammate. Big points coming for Alfa Romeo here in these closing stages. Grovey 1.5 seconds back, 1.4, 1.3 to be correct. If she loses another 4.5, then she's got a bit of time to play with. But if she gets a penalty, that'll be in big jeopardy because Imrie looks like he's trying to pull away here. It's big. This is big stuff.
She looks all right on penalties. She's only got one warning, so she should be okay to either get another warning, and then obviously you've still got a penalty, so she should be okay in terms of penalties. But it's just making sure that there's no silly mistakes now for the rest of this race, and you'll be able to call yourself an RDL race winner. Cott making a move on Websy. Same with Curtis. Like you said, the Alfa Romeo's been fantastic, but Websy just defends from Curtis, but Cott is going to try and blitz away. Cott has had a fantastic race. What a recovery again from Cott 5.
Fantastic comeback. He's going to come with a podium here, provided he can hang on this last lap. And as for hanging on, Imrie will be looking to take the second flag for the first time on track when he comes through. If he comes through in a lap's time, he leads the white flag. Who leads the next one? One more lap to go here in Canada. Grovey a lap away from being called an RDL winner for the first time. And looking to be the next part of that blood that came in from Belgium onwards last season to be called the next RDL race winner. Imrie, thanks to those penalties, has to wait a little bit longer, but it looks like at last this will be Grovey's day.
Yeah, obviously Grovey will be absolutely ecstatic. There's so many near misses for Grovey to win a race, and same with Imrie as well. Obviously Imrie's been in fine form since his return back to RDL, so it'll be unfortunate for him to lose it on penalties, but both of them can be very, very proud of the drive they've done today. They've made the right calls, and barring any mistakes, I would say, in the last few corners of the race, we will have a new race winner.
Shocking day as both the Williams cars failed to finish. Lionel got caught out by Lucky, and Grumio there just making the wrong call. Websy up the inside of Curtis. Here comes Slazenger too. Might try and nick P4 the line, coming towards the line. We'll keep an eye on these guys. They run towards the flag. Imrie is on his way through his technical checker flag. Going into the last couple of corners. If he can keep it calm through this last turn, he's going to win the race on track. But welcome your new race winner to the pantheon of RDL Grand Prix winners. It's Grovey who emerged on top here in Canada. Imrie home in second. That could be third depending on Cott finishing. Cott takes the podium. Imrie still gets second place in the end. Curtis fourth. Slazenger fifth. Only just by a tenth over Slaz. Websy in fifth. Websy sixth. Fan takes seventh. PJ nabs the final point on the road. And that last 8 laps or so was absolute chaos. Grovey at last, RDL race winner.
That was probably the most sensational 5 laps of league racing I think I've ever seen. That was ridiculous, and what could have been if that rain hit 1 lap later or 1 lap sooner? You never know, there's so many things, but what we are certain of is that we have a new race winner. Grovey, congratulations.
And she was on medium tyres at that first stop on a safety car. Remember that? Complete and utter turnaround over the last 15 minutes or so. Not even that, probably about 10 minutes of it, I say. And Imrie, of course, comes home P2 in the end. I think he's been incredibly proud of his drive as well. Just save for some penalties that sort of through mistakes over the course of the day. That was an absolutely amazing race. I'm so glad that we had the privilege of commentating over that. What fun the rain is, especially on a circuit that gives us a race like that.
Canada's great no matter what, and then you throw in a little bit of spice, and it's incredible.
This circuit never disappoints. Grovey is your newest Races Driving League winner. Congratulations. And it's been a long time coming. The celebration's beginning though. 3 of those drivers who joined us mid-season in Season 15 as Fan went on to secure the championship, these 3 were lying in wait for their day on the podium.
I need like a breather after that. That's crazy.
I need a nap, mate. Hopefully we'll be okay. Chances are I won't be able to go through the final results because the timer is stupid. The game is glitched, and we love it for that reason. But that will more or less do us in terms of racing action. We'll have to get some post interviews going. I'm unsure if we'll be able to get Grovey in for one. I think she's also part of the fact that don't particularly doesn't really want to do the interviews, just out of privacy more or less. But of course, we'll have a look here. What a race! Because I think we need to get a few perspectives in. What a race!
Yeah, that was quite frankly ridiculous. And it will be interesting to see people's perspectives on that race, because obviously, like I say, we're getting to race 9 now. Races like that do come few and far between. You don't normally see such a chaotic race, especially in the end. So it'd be interesting to see some drivers getting a bit of pressure applied to them by their team principals to kind of get results. But yeah, very exciting.
Definitely, absolutely amazing stuff here. What a day! I think definitely probably the most exciting 8 laps of the season. I think it has to be said.
I think most exciting 8 laps in general. That's incredible.
It was very, very good. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Hopefully we get someone in for a post interview here. Surprisingly, after the chaos that was, no one's going to talk about it. Yeah, I imagine we'll be able to get JB in. He's becoming a bit more regular on these interviews. But wow, it was chaos. Because JB in the end only got P90 and only just missed out on the points, but just shows how close it was. At the end of the race as well, Grovey was the only driver who didn't get the only driver who was running at the flag and didn't get a penalty. And that just goes to show you, we said it at the top of the broadcast, just how crucial the track limits would be over the course of this Grand Prix, and it did just that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Canada is one of the hardest tracks, like I kept saying, to make sure the 4 tyres are in the white line. So, well done to Grovey for getting 1 warning. It's incredible. 2 warnings is fair enough. Like everyone's happy to have 2 warnings, but to go that little is just ridiculous. It's remarkable, very impressive. As JB's in the commentary booth.
JB, mate, hello. Well, that was a turnaround for the books in those last 8 laps. The rain was. We knew it was coming, but did we think we'd have that much impact?
It was crazy. We weren't expecting it to. Well, the guys who pit for Inters, we weren't expecting them to be able to make use of it. 'Cause it wasn't even raining when they pit. And thought, well, they're going to just drop back. But then, just when obviously the safety car came in, it started, and then just crazy, and everyone's struggling to keep it on the track. And I came in 9th, which is a bit annoying, but I had so many penalties, so it didn't make a difference anyway.
And of course, I mean, aside from the result, you were involved in quite a lot of good battling today. Were you pleased with the sort of the racecraft on offer today?
Yeah, Canada's a tight track, so there's normally only one line through, all the chicanes and everything. So everyone did a pretty good job to keep it clean, actually. Especially where I was. I knew there was a collision at the hairpin. I didn't see it; it was too far ahead of me. But I think, other than that, pretty good.
We did catch the collision on the stream. We were quite good today catching a lot of incidents on, or a lot of stuff in general on the stream today. So I imagine you have fun watching it back later on, as I'm sure all the drivers do. Of course, that late safety car changed everything there. Do you think? Do you agree with me that was good timing for just in terms of tyres in general to make the change? Even if the rain wasn't coming, would that have been a good time for Matt to have that safety car?
I think it was good because you had that situation where some people gambled and some people didn't. And the guys who did obviously reap the rewards. But for me, obviously, it wouldn't have made a difference because I had 12 seconds of penalties, and I was hoping Lucky would be able to get a point because I was battling with him the whole race, but then he spun, unfortunately. So it is what it is. But otherwise, yeah, good race.
Of course, I have to ask you as well. Of course, Grovey home with a race win for the first time. It's a big swing in the championship too, as both Williams cars failed to finish. But just thoughts on the picture changing. Of course, thoughts on Grovey's first win.
Yeah, I don't know what Grumio was doing. I think maybe he felt a bit bad about Landlord getting taken out, and he thought, well, I'll just, have have a stab at it and see if I can stay out. But yeah, Grovey, brilliant. I know she was really disappointed last week with the spin on the last lap. So to see her get to first and Imri second as well, those two guys who I know have been pushing hard. So yeah, well done to both of them.
Of course, that brings Grovey to within a race win the Drivers' Championship. She's just 9 points back in the standings now with both Williams cars failing to score. Could we see perhaps Red Bull bring their fight to Williams a bit more in the next few races? What do you reckon?
Well, I was saying to, I think it was Slazenger, that you just need a bad race from the Williams guys, and you're back in it. And I think that's been proven today. I think Slazenger was 4th or 5th, I can't remember. So he's there as well. I think they're all probably within about 10 points of each other. So yeah, it's really good.
Very, very close stuff. Well, thank you for coming along. Of course, next week's race, Austria. You're looking forward to Austria? It can be quite chaotic in recent seasons.
Yeah, it's a good track and it's good for overtaking. I'm quite quick there. I tend to do quite well because it's a high downforce track and do better at those. So yeah, it'll be a good race. Hopefully, like today.
You got a podium there last season, didn't you? Or was it the season before? I think.
I think so. Yeah. So maybe a repeat, but
Yeah.
If I keep getting all these track limits penalties, then maybe not.
You have to wait and see. Well, good stuff today. I mean, pleased with all of the good race in general. So we'll let you go. Thank you for coming along, Pat, and perhaps we'll see you soon there.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Thanks for the stream. Bye.
No worries. So that'll more or less cap things off for us here. Pope, any final thoughts before I give my I had to give my little notice before next week.
Yeah, no, I like the way that JB signed off that post-race interview. It sounded like he's ended a phone call. It's quite adorable. But no, in all seriousness, we're heading to like I said, the middle point of the season now. Race 10 next week. Austria, like I said, should be exciting. Hopefully no safety cars on the track like a few seasons ago. That was a very bizarre experience. That was a trippy experience to see a safety car driving alongside you in an F1 race. But congratulations to Grovey, of course, and it'll be interesting to see now what happens. The pressure, like I said, from the team principals will be up on these drivers that probably haven't performed as well as expected, and obviously the mid-season reviews I expect will be happening quite soon. So it'll be interesting to see if that shakes up anything and gives people kick up the bottom who need it.
I have to find out. Unfortunately, though, at this point, I do have to announce that I won't be here next week as I have something to attend to outside of racing, which is annoying because Austria is a fantastic circuit, but unfortunately there's no way out of it. So unfortunately no stream next week. We're back with you for Silverstone, which is always very impressive in itself, always gives us quite a race. And the championship could be a bit closer in 2 weeks' time when we come back to your screen. So that'll be on the that'll be on the 18th of March. We're back with you for Silverstone. So until then, I've been Zach RC. He's been touching Pope. We need a word of the race. We need a good word here because it's been quite a day.
Oh, I would say penalties.
I don't
like
know.
penalties.
There's a lot
it's
of them.
It's a good word. There's a lot of them. It's a good word. I love the word penalties. I think it's great.
Just trying to think of something else. Just trying to think of something sort of challenge that.
Dive bomb from James.
We could do. Grovey, could that be the word potentially? Because of course, if you wait a while for the win, you never know.
Did Red Bull, the team?
Go Bulls.
They did the Bulls.
Bulls. That's okay. That's okay. Right. So we decided then a bit more negotiation than in normal weeks, but Bulls is the word of the race. So for those of you guys who are still here at the end of the stream, once the stream's over, go down to the comment section on the stream itself and type in the word Bulls and let us know what you think of Pope's commentary, as usual. So until next time, I've been Zach RC, he's been Touch with Pope, and until next time, we will see you in the next race. Goodbye, everyone. That was a madness.